So this is my entire defense, is that if I were to burn my house down, I guarantee you my husband would be in it. There's no way I would go to all that trouble and then have nothing to show for it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. This is what's known as a robbery. Do not move, do not move.
You guys know her as the host of My Wife Hates Me podcast and Just With Her Husband. Please give it up for Miss Bonnie McFarlane, everybody. Let it.
4 years ago, my house burned down to the ground. I lost everything, and I fell into a depression so deep I didn't know if I would ever get out of it. So naturally, I thought this would be a funny story to tell on television. Before I tell this story, though, I have to say, there's a little bit of ongoing legal battle. So, I'm being sued by some of the adjoining townhouses and the entire townhouse association. So my lawyer has strongly suggested that I begin with the disclaimer. So I just want to make it really clear. I did not willingly or negligently burn my house down. But if I did do it, this is how I would do it. No, my husband wasn't home. My husband was all the way across the country. We live in New Jersey. And yeah, I mean, you can make fun of it if you want, but let me just say this. At least once, sometimes twice a day, I'm the hottest person wherever I'm at. So, something to think about. I've been here less than 24 hours. I feel like shit. So we're living in New Jersey. My husband's all the way across the country. He's performing stand-up across the country. And I'm just home alone with my daughter when my house burns down. And so this is my entire defense, is that if I were to burn my house down, I guarantee you my husband would be in it. There's no way I would go to all that trouble and then have nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? So it's just my daughter. I would never endanger my daughter. She's my world. She's my everything. She's like 5 or 8 or something like that. And no, I love her so much on the weekends. No, if something bad, happened, I would really miss her around the big holidays. So my daughter and I are home. At that time, she was about 4 years old, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I put in a movie for her. I know, if you're a parent, you're judging me right now. It's like, isn't that a little late for a 4-year-old to start watching a movie? It's like, we stayed up late, then we slept in, we got up late. Because at that time, my daughter did not have a job. So let me just say this, too. We'd been smelling smoke since about 4 o'clock that afternoon until about 3 weeks after the fire. It really gets in. It's pervasive. So what am I going to do? I just was like, okay, fine. I put in her movie, The Little Mermaid, which she loves. She's seen that movie so much. She's watched that movie more times than the guy who edited it. And then next to her, on the bed was, this is the most embarrassing part of the story, I was doing tarot cards. I'm not into that. I'm not into the occult or anything. I'm a normal person. Like, I've only done maybe 2 vision boards in my life. Like, I'm not that kind of person. But, as a parent, parenting is very rewarding in small doses, and then there's long stretches of The Little Mermaid. So I was just totally focused on my future. And then my daughter was like, Mommy, look. And the patio windows in my bedroom were just completely awash in flames. They were just so bright. It was crazy that I didn't notice it because I was so focused on my future. Not my immediate future, but I was looking ahead. I know it's ironic. I'm looking at tarot cards while my house is burning to the ground. But to be fair, there's no like, hey, look to your left card. So my daughter was like, hey, we gotta get out of here. And I was like, oh, you're bossy. And then I grabbed my phone, I run out. At some point I checked to see if my daughter was with me. She was. And as we're leaving, we see my neighbor walking up the steps to go to her unit, but she's moving at a really, she's moving so slow, like she just ate a handful of Valiums. She's just like moving up, going up to her unit. I go, hey, there's a fire. She goes, yeah, I know. I just called 911. It's like, great. Have fun up there. So, spoiler alert, she makes it. She's one of the people suing me. But her cats, she had 2 cats, they didn't make it. Hey, I would have moved quicker if I was her. Is that my fault that she was like, let's get a move on. So I do feel bad. I mean, I felt bad about it. I'm a vegetarian, I get it. I mean, I would never eat cats anyway, but I mean, you care. So I call my husband, and he was about to go on stage, and I was like, oh my God. So I freaked out, and then he freaked out, and then he realized there's nothing he could do. So he's like, well, I mean, I'm gonna go do my show. Because that's how messed up comedians are. They'll just go on, just something bad happens, you just go do your show and you just go make people, like I had a miscarriage right before this. And I just compartmentalized. I said, no, you go out there, you deal with that later. These people want to laugh, so I do that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so anyway, then, it was a 5-alarm fire, which means there was 5 different fire units, stations, whatever, houses were there, which I didn't know that's what 5-alarm meant. I just always thought it was a level of spiciness. So that was an interesting thing to learn. And then we're standing across the street, and we're just watching our house burn down to the ground. And then my daughter suddenly, it dawns on her, she's like, are my stuffed animals gonna make it? And I was like, no, honey, they're not. And she just started bawling so hard. I felt it was heartbreaking. So I said, I'll get you any time. We'll replace those stuffed animals. Anytime you want a stuffed animal, I will get you a stuffed animal. And then cut to 4 years later, we have what can only be described as a stuffed animal problem. So then after the house burned down, the detective came out. There was a guy who watched too much Law and Order, came over and started questioning. I mean, I guess we've all watched too much Law and Order. I guess that's what unifies us as humans. We've just all seen too many Law and Orders. But he was like really into it. And so then he interrogated me for a while, and I was like, hey, back off, Stabler. You're getting a little excited. And then I guess his working theory was that I'd been smoking pot on my balcony, because I guess the tarot cards. People were like, why else would you do tarot cards? So he thought I was on my balcony smoking pot, and then I just said to him, you know how hard it is to keep a joint lit? And then he was like, oh, right. And so then I just got to go. They were like, okay, that's that, I guess. But then I called my husband, and I was like, well, we've lost everything. It's over. And my husband was at the airport at this time. He's finished his show and everything. And he said to me, I just had the best show I've ever had. So that was good. Some good came out of it. And we didn't actually lose everything. They just only recovered the Little Mermaid DVD. So thank God we still have that. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very much.